Hey, I'm GLS, and welcome to For the Love of Sports. First off, I'd like to mention that this is Fixing Baseball Part 1. I'm going to be recording Part 2 whenever when I feel like I missed something or something else. I don't know. But yeah, this is all of the things that I think baseball would benefit from. Like robo-umps, maybe. Challenging the play call from an umpire by the catcher, pitcher, or batter immediately after the play is called if you disagree with it. Or changing how overtime works. The first change that I really do agree with, by the way, is this. The new schedule for 2023. 52 games against division opponents, decreased from 76 rather. 64 interleague games against people like if the Tigers played, let's say, Seattle. There's more of that. And then interleague games like Detroit versus the San Diego Padres, which happened this past season, which Detroit finally lost a home game to them ever. They are now 8-1 against the Padres at home. But this, I'd like to change this a little bit more. Keeping what seems to be the best version of the MLB schedule so far, I'd like to change the amount of interleague games. Instead of 46, there would be 35. 2 games against each team that is not in your league. So a different team. Toronto Blue Jays would play every single NL team for a 2-game series, except for, because they're in the AL East, the NL East. They would play 3-game series against those, and depending on if it's home or away, one year it's home, the next year they play away. The same thing for interleague games. This 64. I'd like to keep that. So now we have 35 and 64, which, as we know, is 101. That leaves 61 games for division play, and I think that would be more balanced than changing it from 67 to 52. That, to me, would just be quite a bit better. Now, I don't know how I would really split up 61 games equally over 4 different teams that they had to play divisionally, and likewise for 64. I guess the MLB already has it lined up for 64 across 10 teams that you face in your own league. 6.4 games per team, but 5.2 games per team for division. I don't know. Unless my math is wrong. I'm gonna check this real quick. Okay, so I I checked my math and I made a pretty big mistake. It's not 5.2 games per division, it's 15.25. I messed up dividing it by 4 and dividing it by 10 while I was talking. So that's still pretty weighted in the division aspect. And I guess it would be good. Playing your division is more important than playing everyone else in your own league. And playing everyone else in your own league is more important than playing everyone else in the other league. Because playing 35 games over 15 teams is obviously not a lot. That's about 2.3 games per team that you face. pretty easy math, considering that I changed it that way. But yeah, that's the division aspect, and that's really all I would change for now. On to overtimes. Now, I know this looks like a lot right now, but I swear to you, it'll all make sense. First off, throwing out the man on second rule. I don't like it. I think it speeds up the game too much, and baseball, even though it's a quote unquote boring sport because of the lack of intense moments in it, I think it should be played out longer. It is the longest sport in terms of periods or innings, it has the most of those. But I think that the rules should change. So, I made a new inning system. A. If there is no tie after the 10th or 20th innings, the game will end. The game will end. So if it's 5-4 after the 10th, the game will end. If it's 13-11 after the 14th, it'll end. And now here comes the more complicated parts. B. Game will only end every 5 innings. So if it's not tied, if it's 1-0 after the 23rd inning, the game will still go. And that continues every 5 innings. The game can only end at the 20th inning if it is not tied, the 25th inning if it's not tied, and so on until the 49th and the 50th. Games can end at the 49th or 50th inning. Why? I thought 49 was cool and I didn't want to leave it out. And after that, it goes every 10 until 90, and that is 10 straight games of baseball. And after that, it is increments of 9. 99th, 118th, 108th, 117th, 126th, 135, and so on. F. Can be played over the course of multiple days if still tied. So you could play the first, 36 innings in one day, and keep on going for 7 straight days. And that would be around 180. But you could still play more innings in that day. You could play up to, 50 innings in one day. And you don't have to play a specific set of innings in a day. And those games that are scheduled in between those just get thrown to the side. And here comes G. Games are ended as a tie after 250 innings or 7 days of play if score is still tied. Why? Game's too long. You can't have a game that lasts longer than a cricket game. That's really the only reason why I wanted this ruling. It's because if it's longer than cricket, then I don't know. Why would it be longer than cricket? If you have a double header, can hold option to shorten the game to 7 innings, and extra inning rules are changed to accommodate such change. Doubleheader extras will be kept at 15 innings per game if still tied, and will be rescheduled to finish at a later date. Then, at the rescheduling, regular rules apply. Substitutions. They are reset every 9 innings. Obvious reasons. Keeping players refreshed, and because you just simply cannot run out of people. And here's where the taxi squad comes in. Taxi squad of 10 pitchers and 10 position players. including designated hitter. I know it may not work out like that, since designated hitters will probably be more refreshed more than not. But designated hitters usually don't play that much, like Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols, who's right now on a tear in his last season on his farewell tour. But those players in their late age probably do not have as much energy to play that many innings. So, 10 pitchers and 10 position players on top of the existing 40-man roster, and I know that usually there are only 26 dressed players on a team. These taxi squad players may not play on AAA or below, and have to be dressed every game in order to accommodate for the new inning system. I think that's pretty good. Obviously, there's more I can add, like defensive switches, 2 extra innings. You could have a specific play type for extra innings that you could, I guess, general managers or managers could figure out on their own. There are no specific set of rules to this that I have added. I don't have very much on umpiring, but I do have this. Pitchers, batters, and catchers can challenge a call immediately after the call is made if they disagree. So if a batter, let's say Bryce Harper, a while ago, did not like a specific call and was ejected because he didn't agree with the umpire. Let's say he wanted to challenge that. Then he wouldn't have been ejected. And because the ball was in the batter's box, he would have won, and his at-bat would have been, instead of a strikeout to end the game, a walk. Number 2, foul pole umpires are added to make sure the uncertainty of foul balls or home runs near the foul pole isn't confused any longer. Everyone hates when reviews take forever because of when the ball is close to the foul pole. It's not fun, especially when you're at the game, because it feels like forever. I want to get rid of that. Or try to, since umpires are blind. They are. That's all I have on umpires. Miscellaneous changes to the MLB. Number 1, reorder position numbers to the batting order. This, to me, would make things a lot less confusing, because having a random order in the batting order, and when things don't say what positions they are, is very confusing to me. So I just wanted to fix that for myself. Ground rule doubles to be changed to triples. Wanted to enhance scoring, since 0-0 games are usually not very fun, unless they're both no-hitters, in which case, very fun. But that doesn't concern ground rule doubles. Number 3, can score up to 5 runs, called a grand slam. I'm just changing the inside the park grand slam. Does not apply to any inside the park home runs, however. So, 4, mandatory special edition jerseys for postseason. Teams must make special jerseys for the postseason with different designs. So you won't see a regular version of the Striped Yankees jersey in the postseason. Number 5, 7 teams per league make playoffs. Play-ins happen first between 6 and 7 seeded teams to make a wild card. 1-game series. It's a winner-take-all, where they face the 4 seed. If that happened today, the Seattle Mariners would face the Baltimore Orioles, and the San Diego Padres would face the Milwaukee Brewers to play into the 4 seed, which I forgot what is. But that's not important. Regular playoffs ensue after that. Here are some scrapped ideas that I don't really want to add, but I think are kind of cool. A 4th base. Now that would just be renaming the 3rd base, since what I was thinking is putting it 30 feet behind 2nd base into the outfield and connecting it to 3rd base, making it a around 160-yard difference. Why? I think it would be, a change to the man on second rule for extra innings, rather, not overtime. If that is still a thing, however, it would not be in this. When extra innings starts, the runner would be on this extra base. I don't know what to call it. The extra innings base, I guess. And they would start there, and they would have to run estimated 106 feet to 3rd base, and then try to score. It would be like standing in between 1st and 2nd. But starting there, so it would be harder to get there. Number 2, ability for 2 runners at 3rd base. This would enhance scoring, but I think it's a dumb idea because 1 player per base rule and being caught in jams trying to steal home or not making it in time to get to home and then turning back just for you to be safe at 3rd. I don't like that idea. Number 3, up to 12 defensive players. The more the defense, the more crammed it is, which is, I guess, more physical in a sense, but it would be less fun, since flyouts, pop-outs, line-outs would be a lot more common instead of hits, so it would decrease offense, and that makes a lot of things boring. Unless they are in infield, which would be kind of fun. It would get rid of the bunt, which is less fun, and everyone, I guess, wants the Japanese All-Star Game bunting competition. So, yeah, not a good idea. Also this. Number 4, baseball 5-sized fields with the same amount of defensive players. Baseball 5 is a 5-player team baseball field. It is the size of a wiffle field. Not even close to the size of a softball field. It's smaller. And it's really only the infield. And played on a tarmac. Sliding is not fun on that thing. But you would have the same amount of defensive players. So, another reason why it's in scrapped is that it's too crowded. Getting to any base would be difficult unless you are walked or hit. Wild pitches would be a nightmare too. So that's why these are all scrapped. So, that's Fixing Baseball Part 1. Let me know how you think these would go in an actual game, and in the future I hope to simulate most of the features that I have added, or have concepts of in this. Let me know what you think in the comments, and see ya.